Welcome to the Immigrantinlaw channel. Relocating to Europe isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning of a new chapter in your life. Many people think that the hardest part is getting a visa, sorting out the paperwork, buying tickets, and finally arriving. But in reality, the first 30 days after relocation are often the most intense and emotionally challenging. A new country, a different language, unfamiliar rules, everyday issues, paperwork, accommodation, banks, healthcare, schools for the children, work, all of this comes at you almost at once. And if you don't know where to start, it's easy to feel lost, start panicking, or miss important deadlines. In this video, we'll break down what you need to do in the first 30 days after relocating to Europe to adapt smoothly, settle into your new home, and avoid common mistakes. Save this video, share it with anyone planning to relocate, and watch until the end. At the very end, we'll provide a short list of actions you can use as a checklist. Don't overload yourself with tasks during the first 24 hours after relocation. Even if it feels like you need to get everything sorted out right away, start with the basics. First, make sure all your documents are in order. Passport, visa or entry permit, proof of reason for stay, rent agreement or proof of address, insurance, documents for children, certificates, translations, and other paperwork. Everything should be in one place. It's best to make digital copies right away. Upload them to cloud storage, email them to yourself, and save them on your phone. In Europe, many processes depend on documents, and sometimes a single missing file can delay the paperwork for several weeks. Second, check your connectivity. Buy a local SIM card or activate an eSIM. Without a local number, it can be difficult to register with government services, access your bank account, arrange deliveries, or contact your landlord or employer. Third, figure out your address. Even if your accommodation is temporary, it's important to know whether you can use this address for registration, receiving mail, and official notifications. In some countries, your address is the foundation for the next steps: registration, a bank account, a tax ID, and the healthcare system. And fourth, give yourself time to breathe. Relocating is stressful, even when it's long awaited. Don't expect yourself to be perfectly productive from day one. Your goal isn't to do everything instantly, but to get through the first month calmly and methodically. The most important thing during your first week is to familiarize yourself with the registration requirements in the country you've relocated to. These requirements vary across European countries. In some places, you must register your address within a few days. In others, within a few weeks. In some cases, the process is handled by the local municipality. In others, through the immigration office, the police, or an online portal. Don't put this off. Even if you have a visa or entry permit, upon arrival, you often need to confirm your place of residence and start the process of applying for further status. At this stage, it's important to check three things. First, do you need to register at your place of residence? Second, do you need to apply for a resident card, a residence permit, or another document confirming your right to stay in the country beyond the established period? Third, is there a specific deadline? Deadlines are crucial in immigration processes. Missing a deadline can lead to fines, delays, or problems when renewing your status. If you moved with your family, check the requirements for each family member separately. Adults, children, spouses, students, or workers may need different documents and go through different application stages. At this stage, it's best not to rely on advice from forums, because rules change and everyone's situation is different. The most reliable approach is to verify the requirements with official sources or consult specialists who work specifically with your country and your reason for relocation. Finding accommodation in Europe is often one of the most challenging tasks after relocating. If you've moved into temporary accommodation, you should start looking for a more long-term option within the first week. When choosing an apartment, don't just focus on the price and appearance. It's important to understand whether you can register at that address, which utility bills are included, how the rental agreement is drawn up, what deposit is required, if there's a minimum rent term, and who is responsible for repairs. In some countries, the rental market is very competitive. Landlords may ask for proof of income, an employment contract, a bank statement, or references from a previous landlord or guarantor. This is normal, and it's best to be prepared for it in advance. Never transfer a large security deposit without a rental agreement and verification of the landlord's information. This is especially true if you're offered terms that seem too good to be true, if they rush you to pay, or if they refuse to show you the apartment. In the first few weeks after moving, people are vulnerable because they want to resolve the housing issue as quickly as possible. That's exactly why it's important to stay vigilant. If you're signing a rent agreement, don't hesitate to have it translated and clarify any unclear points. The contract may contain important details: the notice period for moving out, rules for refunding the security deposit, a ban on registration, restrictions on living with pets, and conditions for rent increases. Your home in a new country is not just a place to store your suitcases. It is the foundation for registration, documents, daily life, and psychological stability. The next important step is opening a bank account. In Europe, you need one for practically everything: receiving your salary, paying rent, utilities, mobile phone bills, insurance, taxes, and government services. In some countries, you can open an account quickly. In others, you'll need to provide proof of address, a tax ID number, or proof of residency status. Sometimes you can use online banks or payment services at first, but it all depends on the country and your situation. In the first 30 days, it's important to open an account or figure out what documents are needed. Set up mobile banking, understand the fees, check transfer limits, understand how recurring bills are paid. Pay special attention to tax issues. If you're starting a job, opening a business, or receiving income from different countries, it's best to figure out in advance where you'll be a tax resident and what obligations you'll have. Many people put off tax issues until later, but this can lead to unpleasant consequences. In Europe, financial transparency is of great importance, and it's best to get everything right from the start. Healthcare is another matter you shouldn't put off. Even if you rarely get sick, it's important in a new country to know where to go in an emergency, how to make a doctor's appointment, and what your insurance covers. Check whether your insurance remains valid after you move. Travel insurance is often not suitable for long-term residence, work, or applying for residency status. Depending on the country, you may need public insurance, private insurance, or a combination of both. Find out how to get a health insurance number or enroll in the healthcare system, how to choose a family doctor, where to go at night, on weekends, or in an emergency, whether your insurance covers medications, tests, dental care, pregnancy, and chronic conditions. If you are relocating with children, be sure to check vaccination records, find a pediatrician, and verify medical certificates and requirements for school or daycare. Health is not an issue to be addressed at the last minute. It is better to prepare everything in advance than to seek help in a stressful situation. If you're relocating with children, the first 30 days are especially important. Your child will not only need to start school or preschool, but also adapt to a new language, environment, and daily routine. Find out how the education system works in your country and city. In some places, children are assigned to a school based on their address. In others, parents can choose the school. And in some, there are preparatory language classes. Gather the necessary documents: birth certificate, passport, medical records, transcripts from the previous school, report cards, and translations. It's best to have both originals and copies. It's important to remember, a child's adaptation can come in waves. In the first few days, they may be curious. Later, they may feel tired, irritable, or homesick. This is normal. Parental support, a calm environment, and a clear daily routine help much more than pressure and expectations of quick results. Adaptation is important for adults too. Relocating involves not only paperwork, but also a restructuring of one's identity. You're relearning how to handle simple tasks: buying medicine, making a doctor's appointment, calling a repairman, or understanding a letter from an agency. Give yourself permission to learn. If you've relocated for work, check within the first 30 days that everything has been processed correctly. Your employment contract, tax ID number, social security contributions, health insurance, start date, and bank details for your paycheck. If you plan to look for a job once you're there, start by adapting your CV to the European format. Different countries have their own specific requirements. In some places, it's customary to include a photo. In others, it isn't. In some places, references are important. In others, a cover letter. In some places, a LinkedIn profile plays a major role. Don't send the same CV to everyone. It's better to identify a few areas of focus, tailor your experience to specific job offers, and understand which requirements are common across them. If you plan to start a business or work as a self-employed professional, be sure to familiarize yourself with local regulations. In Europe, it's important to choose the right legal structure, register with the tax authorities, keep track of income and expenses, issue invoices, and understand when to pay taxes. Even if you work remotely for clients in other countries, that doesn't mean you have no obligations in your country of residence. It's best to sort this out right from the start. Once the documents are in progress, you've found a place to live and a bank account is set up, everyday life begins. And there are important details to consider here as well. Figure out the public transportation system, what types of passes are available, how to pay for rides, what the fines are for riding without a ticket, and whether there are apps for planning your route around the city. Learn the rules for sorting trash. In some countries, this is taken very seriously, and mistakes can lead to fines or conflicts with neighbors. Check how the postal service works. In Europe, many official notifications arrive by regular mail, so it's important to check your mailbox regularly and not ignore envelopes from government authorities, your bank, your insurance company, or your landlord. Figure out the shops, pharmacies, delivery services, emergency numbers, and operating hours of public institutions. In many countries, stores may close earlier than you're used to, and some services don't operate on Sundays. And one more important point, communication protocols. In Europe, much relies on written correspondence, appointments, and following procedures. Sometimes an issue can't be resolved by just showing up and talking. You need to make an appointment, wait for a response, and bring a specific document. This isn't good or bad, it's simply a different way of doing things. During the first 30 days, many people focus solely on paperwork, but social adaptation is just as important. The sooner you start to understand your surroundings, the easier things will be going forward. Start with the language. Even if many people in your country speak English, knowing basic phrases in the local language is very helpful. Greetings, expressions of thanks, making requests, scheduling a doctor's appointment, chatting in a store, writing to an institution, all of this reduces stress. Don't set a goal to speak perfectly right away. Your first task is to understand simple situations and not be afraid to interact. Look for local communities, professional gatherings, language clubs, and interest groups. But don't limit yourself to a circle of people who speak your native language. Support is important, but to truly adapt, you need to gradually integrate into the local environment. It's also helpful to learn cultural norms, how to interact with neighbors, how to schedule appointments, how to handle everyday matters, how to deal with government services, and how to conduct business correspondence. Adaptation is a journey, not a test. Everyone moves at their own pace. Now let's briefly go over the mistakes people most often make in the first 30 days. The first mistake is putting off registration and paperwork. It may seem like there's plenty of time, but government offices can be busy, and gathering the necessary documents takes longer than expected. The second is signing a rent agreement without checking the terms. It's especially important to review the sections on registration, the security deposit, the rent term, and the termination rules. The third is not sorting out health insurance. While everything is going well, this issue seems secondary, but in an emergency, not having the right insurance can be costly. Fourth, ignoring letters and notifications. In a new country, it's best to have any official letter translated and read it carefully. Fifth, comparing everything to your old life and getting annoyed that nothing is the same here. Yes, a lot will be different, but the sooner you stop fighting the new system and start understanding it, the easier life will become. Sixth, trying to go it alone. Sometimes consulting a specialist saves months of time, money, and stress. Let's summarize. In the first 30 days after relocating to Europe, you need to review and save all your documents in both paper and digital formats. Set up local communication services. Check the rules for registering your address. Start the process of obtaining residency status, if required. Sort out your accommodation and rent agreement. Open a bank account or prepare the necessary documents for the bank. Check your tax and financial obligations. Obtain or confirm your health insurance. Understand how to see a doctor and where to go in an emergency. If you have children, start the process of enrolling them in school or daycare. Take care of everyday matters, transportation, mail, utilities, shopping, and communication. Start learning the language and the rules of everyday communication. And most importantly, don't try to do everything all at once. The first month after your relocation should not be a race, but a gradual transition into your new life. Relocating to Europe is a big step, and the first 30 days really set the tone for a lot of things. How smoothly your adaptation will go, how quickly you'll get your paperwork in order, whether you'll be able to avoid unnecessary expenses, and whether you'll feel confident in your new country. If you are planning to relocate to Europe and want to understand which country and which legalization route is right for you, submit a request for a free consultation with Immigrantinlaw's lawyers. We'll develop the optimal relocation strategy for you, prepare all the necessary documents, explain the nuances of the law in detail, and answer all your questions. We'll analyze your case, your goals, and your situation without using templates. Want to learn more or start the process today? Contact us. All contact details are listed in the description below this video. We're here to help you take a confident step toward a new life. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ask your questions in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Discover a world of opportunities with Immigrantinlaw.